What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again. All right, let's get into it. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another video. And today, basically, y'all see it in the title, I want to show off my physical media collection. And when I say physical media collection, I mean like my Blu-rays, DVDs, like basically movies that I own. And the reason I want to show it off is, like I said on my podcast, physical media is a very important thing to me, especially me being a film person, me wanting to be a filmmaker and director. Like, owning your media is just so important to me. And yes, we're in the world of streaming. Don't get me wrong, I love my Netflix, love my Hulu, especially Disney Plus, but you know, it's just a different feeling actually holding the movies that you love and like knowing that nobody can ever do anything about them, you know, unless you do something with them. So yeah, I fully advocate for physical media. And if you're watching this, like I said, I'm not telling you not to stream anymore, but it would, like, I definitely advise that you guys at least start to at least collect the movies that you personally like. And that's what I've been getting into this year. Like, I've been collecting a lot of the movies that I love. I also watch a lot of other like physical media YouTubers and stuff like that. So I'm not really too into the physical media community, but I definitely dive into it a little bit, and I would say that I am someone that's big on physical media. So enough talking, man. Y'all know I love to talk, but let me get into it. Basically, like I've stated before on my channel, I still live at my mom's house, so all my movies are in my room, and there is no set area for them, so like they're kind of scattered in different parts of my room. So basically, I'm just gonna go through each Blu-ray and DVD that I have, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get into it, y'all. My room could be hella dark, so I had to set up the light real quick. But yeah, this is basically the main area where most of my Blu-rays are. You guys can kind of see some of the movies I already have from here, but let's go through them one by one. So I've said it on the podcast before, Jordan Peele is my favorite director. So I have all his movies together, and that's what we're starting with. So the first movie here is Get Out, one of my favorite films of all time. And you know, like I said, he's one of my favorite directors, and this movie really showed me, like, man, this dude is a really great director, especially horror director, because if you guys know his past in comedy, like, a lot of people was not expecting him to do good in horror. So then we got Us, his second film. I didn't love it as much as Get Out, but it was still a great film. It's still one that I watch pretty much around Halloween time, and, you know, even when I have a group of friends over, it's still a very fun movie to put on. Next, we got Nope, my second favorite film from him, under Get Out, of course, and pretty much it is another fun film from him. A lot of people say that this is his most rewatchable film. I don't believe that, but it's still a really great film. Next, we have the original Halloween, the 4K edition. I don't even have a 4K player, but eventually I will get a 4K player, but I was like, I still got to get this collector's edition, especially since I love this cover of Michael. And it comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K edition, so of course I had to pick that up. Next, I have the newer Halloween trilogy, basically the new timeline. I forget the director's name, David Gordon Green or something like that. Basically, his trilogy. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on this trilogy, but to be honest, I love this Halloween trilogy. And from the little bit that I know of the other Halloween timelines, I never watched all the Halloween timelines, but from what I heard about the other ones, I would say that this one would still be my favorite if I actually watched every other timeline. But yeah, I love these movies, as controversial as they are. I love them, and you know, I still continue to watch them every year. Next, we have Juice, classic 90s movie starring Tupac and Omar Epps. And basically, if you grew up black, like, obviously you've seen this movie before. And personally, me, I would actually consider this a horror movie. I love horror movies, and Juice is kind of like a hood horror movie in a way. So if you never checked it out, watch it. Or if you never thought of it in the context of a horror movie, rewatch it and think about it in that context, because it definitely fits when you think about it. Next, we have Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Um, Definitely a top five favorite movie of all time for me. If you guys ever seen this movie, it's pretty much like off the wall, batshit crazy. Recently, I showed my friend Corey this movie, and the whole time he was just like, "What the hell am I watching?" But he did like it, and pretty much, I know this movie can be controversial for some people, but I consider it one of the best movies of all time. Next is the first Ted. I do not fuck with Ted 2. I didn't like Ted 2, so I really only acknowledge Ted 1 and the Ted's TV series. But yeah, Ted 1 is just like a classic comedy in my opinion, and it's still one that I go back to watch a lot. Next is Your Name, probably the first Blu-ray of this new collection. I did have Blu-rays growing up, and some of them has, got lost or broken. So Your Name is definitely like the first movie from my new collection that I got. I think I got this one back in like 2018. Yeah, I got it back in 2018. I really wanted to watch the movie, and there was like no way for me to watch it, so I had to go to a Walmart and buy it. And I'm very glad that I actually like this movie, because if the movie was ass and I bought it, like, I would have been so mad. But yeah, Your Name is such an amazing movie. If you guys never seen it, please go check it out. The Diary of Wimpy Kid trilogy. Now, controversial opinion, I actually do like the fourth movie, but there's a reason I didn't buy the fourth movie. I like it, but the trilogy is obviously the best movies. My favorite of the three is Dog Days, but I don't even think I really have to explain this movie a lot to people, especially people in my generation. Like, we grew up on this Wimpy Kid shit. Like, I went to go see all the movies in theaters, not the fourth one, but I saw the first three in theaters. I actually saw the first one, I think, three times in theaters. Like, I was such a big Wimpy Kid, reader when I was younger. So having these movies, it was just a requirement for me. Like, I just had to get it. Next, we have Casablanca. Now, this is kind of a sin for film lovers and shit like that, but I don't like a lot of older movies. I fucking hate a lot of old Hollywood movies. But Casablanca is one of the few that I love so much, and it's one of the few where I was like, you know what? Like, I can look past the movie being old, and sometimes I don't really like them, not just because they're old, but like Casablanca was basically one of those movies that, got past that for me. Like, I love Casablanca. Possibly like one of my favorite romance movies ever. Next, we have ATL, another underrated movie in my opinion. Not for the black community, because we love ATL. This is basically a hood classic for us, but like in the grand scheme of film, I feel like this movie does get very overlooked. T.I. actually put on a very good performance, and I think this was like his first time acting in this movie. But yeah, ATL is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's number three for me, behind The Hangover and Friday. So, you know, ATL, definitely had to get this one. Love it. Next, Girls Trip. Um, this one is, this is just one of the modern comedy movies that I love. One thing I'm also big on nowadays is I feel like we don't get a lot of comedy movies anymore. And this was like one of the last major comedy releases I seen in theaters. And it was actually a pretty good movie. Like, I wasn't expecting to go see it. My mom literally asked me to see it like out of the blue when it came out. But I'm so glad that she asked me to come with her, because this movie was pretty funny. And even if you're not a woman, like, I feel like this movie is still a good time to watch with your friends and stuff like that. So, Girls Trip, if you've never seen it, check it out. Next, we got the Lilo and Stitch movies. Only the first two. Now, I do have the other two, but I won't explain how I have the other two. You guys can probably put your 2 cents towards that one. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch, the two movie collection. I grew up on Lilo and Stitch, so of course when I saw that they had the first two movies together on Blu-ray, had to buy it. Truth or Dare is a very guilty pleasure movie for me. I know it's ass. It is a very bad movie, but boy, do I love it. I went to go see it with my friends in our freshman year of college, and for the next month, we were sitting there making like a bunch of Truth or Dare jokes with a Snapchat filter. But yeah, this movie is so fucking horrible, but I love it. And I would never like change anything about it. Like, I love this movie despite how bad it is. Next, we have my little Studio Ghibli collection right here. First, we have Spirited Away. I'm not really going to show off the backs of these steel books because there's nothing really on the back, but Um, Recently, Studio Ghibli has been starting to release like steelbooks of their movies, and Spirited Away is the first one that I got. I love Spirited Away. Basically, that was the first Studio Ghibli movie I've ever seen. Kiki's Delivery Service. I didn't grow up on this one. I saw it last year through Ghibli's Ghibli Fest at movies. I keep saying I'm not going to show the back, but then I do. But yeah, I saw this one through Ghibli Fest, and it quickly became my favorite Studio Ghibli movie of the whole studio. I know a lot of people would say Spirited Away or Grave of the Fireflies. Some people might even say Princess Mononoke and Ponyo, but for me, Kiki's Delivery Service was absolutely my favorite. I feel like it touched on me a lot, like with the themes of burnout and depression and stuff like that. I feel like this was a great movie, you know, for, you know, I didn't know what I was going to lead up to say with that one, but this is definitely my favorite movie of the Studio Ghibli catalog. Next, we have Ponyo. This was one that I grew up on, and I do still have my original Disney Blu-ray for Ponyo when it was released under Disney, but this one is the released under G Kids, and when I saw that they were putting out a new version of it, I was like, I still got to get this because I still have the Blu-ray. I lost the case, and also I wanted the steelbook for it. So yeah, Ponyo, it was worth me rebuying because I love this version of the movie too. Like I still have the Disney version and I still have this version. So, and when I say version, it's not like they changed anything with the movie itself, but it's just like, you know, how different studios release the movie. So yeah. Next, we have Princess Mononoke, which, you know, I saw this one through Ghibli Fest last year too. Now, while I don't like it as much as the other ones, I still wound up loving Princess Mononoke. I feel like it's not one that I'm going to revisit a lot, but I still bought it because it is still one worth buying. Like I showed earlier, Keanu right there. It's funny, I didn't even intend on having the first row start with Jordan Peele and end with Jordan Peele, but yeah, Keanu, you know, this movie, I didn't go see it in theaters. I wanted to see it. So when I saw that it was on HBO, me and my dad watched it and we had a pretty good time with it. It's just it's just one of those random stupid comedies that you can turn your brain off and just have a lot of fun with. And next we reach the second row. Now I'm doing a lot of explanation, so some of these I'm just about to, you know, scoop by real quick. Some of them I'll give explanations for, but then some of them I'm just gonna scoop by. So all right, let's get to it. This one has Rio, Robots, and Horton Hears a Who. I grew up watching Robots and Horton Hear a Who when I was younger. Rio, I did like it, but you know, it was a cool movie. But to be honest, if I could just get these two, I would have did it. But I was on a Blu-ray hunt one night when I was bored, so it was like in a $5 bin, and I was like, you know what? Let me just buy it just because at least I'm getting three movies for the price of $5. Next, we have Uncut Gems, the Criterion Collection version. Uncut Gems is like one of my favorite movies of all time, so of course I had to cop this one real quick. This one has I Love You, Beth Cooper and All About Steve. I've never seen All About Steve. I've really just bought this one because this was the cheapest copy of I Love You, Beth Cooper that I could get on Amazon at the time. So I got another movie. I can check it out if I want to, but I really only bought this for Beth Cooper, which is a very underrated 2000 comedy in my opinion. Next, we have Promising Young Woman. I think this movie came out in 2021. This is also another one of my favorite films of all time. Don't really see a lot of people talk about this one, but I recommend it to people a lot. And hopefully, if this is your first time watching my channel and you never seen this, I'm recommending it to you. This is a great drama movie if you guys are looking for something like that. Next is Straight Outta Compton. I don't really need to explain this one. Everybody knows the story of NWA, and this movie took over the industry in 2015. Basically, a lot of biopic movies were greenlit after this movie. So yeah, another one of my favorites of all time. You know, if you're one of the few people that never seen this movie, please go check it out. Okay. Next, we have About Last Night, the remake with Kevin Hart, Michael Ealy, and Regina Hall. And yeah, another romantic comedy, definitely like my top three romance movies of all time. Next, we have the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. I love Spider-Man. He's like tied with my favorite hero of all time, tied with the Hulk. So the Tom Holland trilogy, had to buy that when I saw that they were selling it all together. Next, we got Dance Flick, a Wayne's Brother parody movie on Save the Last Dance and Step Up. Yeah, this was around the time that parody movies were starting to die out, but I love this movie. I grew up watching this movie so many times, like literally on repeat. So yeah, love that movie. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I think I said it before on my podcast that A24 is my favorite film studio. So lately I've been trying to buy a lot of their A24 films. I mean, buy a lot of their films, of course, like with Uncut Gems. But Bodies, 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 it was one of my favorites from the studio. And I don't know, I just love this movie a lot, especially for the time that it came out. Like it came out at a very interesting time in my life, and it was definitely a movie that made me laugh, and it gave me something to enjoy during that time in my life. I'm not going to go into it, but it was just a great movie for that time. Next, we have The Hitman's Bodyguard and The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, the sequel to it. Now, these movies, I was not looking forward to it, but my cousin got me to see The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, or Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and I didn't really want to see it, but he got me to see it, and I wound up enjoying this one so much that I went back to watch the first one, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy them. They were good enough for that. Next, we have Prom Night. I think this one came out in 2007. This was one of the horror movies that my parents would not let me watch when I was younger. So, of course, when I got old enough, it was either when I got old enough or either when my parents weren't home and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch this anyway. Yeah, I watched it. It did not scare me at all, but I really enjoyed it. And I know this movie gets a lot of flack, but I love it. You guys will notice that I love a lot of movies that people hate. Next we have the Paranormal Activity collection. Yep, it's all the movies together. So from the first movie to Next of Kin, which was a Paramount Plus exclusive. This is the only physical media that they have for this movie. And they have a documentary based on the making of the series. So, yeah, Paranormal Activity is my favorite horror series, even over Halloween. As much as I love Halloween, Paranormal Activity is my favorite horror series. I watch these movies every year for Halloween. So now I finally have the Blu-rays to watch them. Next, we have Now You See Me. Now this one, I just watched this in my freshman year of high school, around the end of the year when all the lesson plans are done and your teachers just basically show you movies to keep y'all busy. We watched this one and I was not interested in seeing this at all, but I love the heist angle with magicians and stuff like that. And this was actually a pretty cool movie. I have the sequel, but I don't have the sequel like on this stand. Next, we have the Rankin Bass Christmas movie collection. I grew up on these movies, so when I saw that they were putting them out on Blu-ray for the first time, I had to buy them. Love these movies, and of course, like I said, with even the horror movies, I watch these every single year. The John Wick movies, I don't even really have to explain much. It's motherfucking John Wick, one of the greatest action series of all time. Next, we have the Hunger Games series, all four movies. Um, Yeah, I bought this before the last one came out, so I need to buy that. I need to buy that other one. But yeah, as far as the original four films, this is the collection. Pretty good movies. We have Knocked Up, which I recently seen, I think back in March for the first time. Now, I've always seen This Is 40. This Is 40 is one of my favorite like romance movies of all time, but I never actually sat down and watched Knocked Up. So I finally watched Knocked Up, and while I like This Is 40 a little bit more, Knocked Up did grow on me because at first I thought it was just okay, but it grew on me, and now I actually do like it. Not as much, but very close to This Is 40. Next, we have The Babadook. First off, I am very surprised I was able to talk my teacher in high school to actually showing this to the class, especially during one specific sexual scene. Like, I'm surprised that I actually was able to get him to play this movie. But yeah, Babadook is, a very, I would say, it's underrated to the overall, like, to common, like, people, but for film people, we all know this movie. Like, this movie is definitely a if you know you know type horror movie. Next, another one that a lot of people hate, but I fucking love. Don't Worry, Darling. People hate this movie, but I love this movie so much. I don't care what people say. This movie, I love it. You know, you guys can even leave in the comments if you guys think this movie is shit. But for me, I love this movie. I watch this one frequently. I wouldn't say it's in my top 15 of all time, but it is up there for one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, I genuinely like this movie, and I will defend it if anybody wants to talk shit about it. Next, we have the American Pie series. I got the first four movies. I really do not like American Wedding. I wish I could get a collection without American Wedding, but this is the cheapest collection I could get with the original movies. I like the first one, I like the second one, and I love Reunion. But Wedding, you guys can imagine that I don't even touch that disc at all. Um, Next, we have Mother. This one I've seen recently for the first time, I think back in March. I always heard how crazy this movie was, so I finally decided to sit down and watch it. And yeah, it definitely lives up to it. If you've never seen it, go into it blind and watch it. You will not be disappointed. Trust me, you will not. Um, Next, we got scary movies. We got the scary movies. It's another case of where I really wanted these two, but the third one came along with it. Not that I think the third one is bad, but it's just like, come on now. Like, look at these two. Scary Movie 1 is like the best parody movie ever, in my opinion. Scary Movie 2, not as funny, but it's still pretty funny. But yeah, the third one is fine. It's just, come on now. Like, look what you stacked up against. Next, we got Project X. I don't even have to explain this one. If you grew up in my generation, or if you even seen Project X when it first came out in theaters, you already know what's up with this one. Next, Bottoms. This one doesn't even have an official physical media release. I actually got this off of someone from Etsy, so I think they shut down their store by now, but I'm glad that I got this when I could. They definitely did their best with a movie that isn't released on physical media. Now, what I will say is I heard that Kino Lorber, they're a boutique physical media chain. I heard that they're making a physical media version of this movie. So when that one comes out, I will gladly buy that one and actually support the movie. But for right now, I do use this one when I want to watch Bottoms again. Next, oh, another custom made one. No One Will Save You. This is a Hulu movie that I really loved a lot. And this is one of those movies that makes me mad that streaming services don't release physical media versions of their movies. And yeah, No One Will Save You was like, I think it was in the upper half of my favorite movies last year. So yeah, No One Will Save You. Like I said, if there was ever a physical, like an official physical media release for this, I would buy it. But for right now, this is what I got. If you are subscribed to Hulu, definitely check this one out. Next, another movies that people hate that I love, Grown Ups 1 and Grown Ups 2, especially Grown Ups 2. I love Grown Ups 2. It's up there for some of my favorite, it's up there with one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies of all time. I love both these movies. I feel like they're very good, like turn your brain off and have fun with your buddies watching this type movies. Basically, growing up where I did, everybody loved these movies. Now, granted, people still say Grown Ups 1 is better, but I still think Grown Ups 2 is better, and I still love Grown Ups 1. But either way, I defend these movies like crazy, especially Grown Ups 2. Oh my gosh, you guys should see the debates that I had about this shit. You guys really should see those debates. Next, we have a steelbook for Boys in the Hood. This came out a long time before I actually got this steelbook, but I was lucky enough to get it off of a reseller on the Walmart app. So, Boys in the Hood, classic movie. I ain't even got to explain it. Y'all already know what's up with that. 1001 movie that came out last year. I feel like not a lot of people talk about it enough, but it is still a great movie, and it's one of my favorite representations of a mother-son relationship in cinema. So yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna start speeding past these so that we can get to the other section. So We got the Scream series. This only covers the first three movies. Still got to get 4, 5, and oh wait, I do have 4. I forgot that I had 4 right there. Um, so yeah, I have the first 4 Scream movies, the first 3 collection. Then I got Scream 4 right here. I still got to get 5 and 6 though. I know I don't have those. Turning Red. I know a lot of people talk shit about this one, but Turning Red, I love this movie. I feel like it's one of the newer Pixar movies that kind of give me that old Pixar feel. I know people don't feel that way overall, but still a good movie. Top 5. Like I said, I gotta start moving quicker. Madagascar, the whole collection, got the movies, a couple episodes from the Madagascar Penguins show, and the TV specials. Next, we got Cloverfield, the only one in the Cloverfield series that I like. I didn't like I never seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, but Cloverfield Paradox, I did not like that. So this is the only one that I have so far. Lamb, another A24 movie. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. If you've seen Lamb, then you already know what I'm trying to say. Next, we got the Pokemon movies. This is a collection with the first 3 movies that I grew up on, so of course I had to buy it. Wizard of Oz. It's so sad what Judy Garland had to go through to make this movie and stuff like that. I watched this movie a lot growing up. Wizard of Oz, definitely one. I don't even really have to explain. It's just a great movie. The Saw series, Spiral, another one that people didn't like, but I actually do like. The VHS series. VHS series is definitely, if you know, you know, type horror series for film lovers. Next, we have Coraline. I feel like people in my generation, it's not that the movie is overrated, but golly, the way people treat this movie, you would think it is a lot of people's favorite films of all time. But yeah, Coraline, great movie. Of course, since I have it, you know I think it's great. Next, we have Back to the Future trilogy. Very weird angle for this one. Megan, very funny movie, very not really scary, but it's a very funny movie. The Space Jam movies, 1 and 2, I don't care. I love 2. Despite how much people don't like it, I love 2. Best Man Holiday, another black classic movie that I watch every year for the holidays. Prom, very underrated Disney movie that I don't really see a lot of people talk about, but whenever I do show people this movie, I always put them on. They always wind up liking it when I show them this movie. Next, we got Freaky. I feel like this movie don't get talked about enough. It was definitely a very funny twist on the Freaky Friday concept. Silver Linings Playbook, very underrated romance comedy in my opinion. Or I should say romance dramedy. Unhinged. Boy, this was like the first movie that I saw in 2020 when theaters started to open back up. Me and the person that I saw this movie with, we enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And yeah, it's definitely one that I would recommend to more people if, I had more people to recommend movies to. Next, we got Four Christmases, another Christmas classic in my opinion. Next up, we got Black and Blue. Saw this one with my family, I think back in 2019. Very underrated movie. Nobody really talks about it like that, but it's such a good movie. Oh my gosh. Booksmart, um, Olivia Wilde's first movie before Don't Worry, Darling. Now, this one is one that people actually do accept is a good movie, but Don't Worry, Darling, yeah, they still hate that one. But I think Booksmart is better than Don't Worry, Darling, so I will give people that. Like, I'll give y'all that one. No Good Deed. I think this one came out in 2015. Went to go see this one with my parents. Enjoyed it a lot. Fun fact, Idris Elba is my favorite actor. And it's funny, 3 Idris Elba movies back to back. So Beast is another one. Then Takers. So yeah, Idris Elba is my favorite actor. And it's funny, I didn't even realize that I put 3 of his movies back to back. Now I'm just kind of rearranging these. We got 8 Mile right here. This shit is so difficult. Johnson Family Vacation, movie that I grew up on, very overlooked. High School Musical Remix. If you guys want somewhat of a story time, this is my most expensive Blu-ray. This is so rare from what I've seen. This is like my most expensive Blu-ray. If I wanted to resell this thing, I could get a lot of money for this. Definitely my most expensive one. This Christmas, best Christmas movie ever. I don't care what nobody say, even over A Christmas Story. I love this Christmas. This is my favorite Christmas movie, absolutely. Boogie, one of my favorite films from 2021, I think it came out. But yeah, R.I.P. Pop Smoke. This movie was amazing. If you've never seen it, go check it out. Superfly, not too big of a fan of this movie, but I still enjoyed it enough to where I would buy it and show it to people. So, whatever that's worth. Orphan, man, sadly, I already knew the twist, but I still had a good time watching it. This is the End, very funny movie. I saw this one, I think the night before I graduated middle school. So, that was just a fun weekend all around. Um, Captain Marvel, another one that a lot of people hate that I genuinely love. So, I'll never understand the hate for Captain Marvel, but I love her movies and I love Brie Larson. Just had to throw that in there. Vacation, underrated comedy. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love it. Mortal Kombat, some of the most brutal kills I've ever seen in a movie, but yeah, if y'all know the Mortal Kombat games, I ain't even gotta explain it. Let me hurry through these last five because my legs are killing me now. All right. The two Ice Age movies, the first two, I am going to get the third one, and that's the only one that I plan on getting after that. Ice Age 4 and 5, I was not a fan of, and I think they have a sixth movie, but I didn't watch it. So yeah, 4 and 5, I seen those. I don't know if they have a sixth one, but I don't think I watched that one if they do. The Captain America trilogy, personally, my favorite trilogy of the MCU. I love all these movies equally. Well, not equally, but basically they're all like my favorite trilogy of the MCU. The Karate Kid, the Jaden Smith version, I am planning on getting I'm trying to get a collection of the older Karate Kid movies. All right, finally, the last one down, okay? Then next, we have the Creed trilogy, which, unpopular opinion, Creed 3 is my favorite. I love Creed 1, but Creed 2, I didn't love it, but it is still pretty good in my opinion. All right, finally, I can finally stand back up. Jeez. Yeah, so that is the first part of my collection, and we're already 30 minutes into this video. I hope you guys stick around for the rest of it, but yeah. All right, so I got a huge stack. So this is in my bottom drawer in my room. I got a huge stack right here, so we're just gonna really hurry up through these. Love Don't Cost a Thing. The other Truth or Dare. Now, fun fact, this one actually came out a year before that Truth or Dare that I had in that side. But yeah, I like this one a little bit more. It's still also a very ass movie, but I still love it a lot. The original House Party movies, I don't like 4 and I don't really like 2, but I do like 1 and 3. But it's sad that this one never got a Blu-ray release. Then we got House Party 5. I actually do like this movie. It is up there with the first two, or it's up there with 1 and 3 for me. Yeah, so House Party. I still am debating with myself if I want to get the newer House Party that came out last year, but we'll see on that. Next, we got Uncle Drew. I found this one in a $5 bin at a Dollar General, so yeah. Six Man, this is a movie that I grew up on. I'm surprised that I think my dad bought this for me when I was younger. And yeah, I'm surprised that I wound up liking this movie as much as I did because this was a lot more serious than I would have usually liked when I was younger. Then we have 51st Dates. One thing about me, I think I get my physical media love from my parents because they used to have a huge DVD setup when I was younger, and this was one of the few DVDs that actually they still kept. So yeah, this is from them. Seeing how they don't even care about the DVD collection no more, I don't think they'll mind that I'm taking this one. Next, we have Clutch Powers, another movie that I grew up watching, and I never really had the DVD before. I bought the DVD like a couple months ago, so yeah. So that's one stack. Next, we have The Game Plan. I still remember my dad taking me to see this movie at first when it came out in theaters. Very great movie. I wish they made a sequel to it, and it's not like they can't ever make a sequel to it. Then we have Stuart Little 1. I don't know where the hell Stuart Little 2 is. I have Stuart Little 2, but I don't know where it's at right now. But yeah, Stuart Little 1, another movie that I grew up watching, loved it. Power Book 2, Season 1. Now, right now, I'm trying to get all the movies out of the way that I want to buy, but this was the first TV show I think I bought, the first season. Sadly, Stars don't really release physical media, versions of their shows as much as they used to. So, really, all I have left is season 2 of this show. I hope they eventually release season 3 and 4. But yeah, Book 2 Ghost. If you guys know me, you know I love Power, so of course I had to cop this one. Another one from my parents' old DVD collection. I Think I Love My Wife. I think they don't mind that I have this one, but another great Chris Rock movie. Aquila and the Bee, another one from my parents' collection. I don't even think they touched this movie ever since watching it for the first time. So yeah. Lil Manhattan, another movie that I grew up loving. I would actually consider this my favorite romance movie of all time. Like, it is genuinely a great movie, especially for kids, but not even just for kids, but like even me rewatching this movie says a lot about love that I even think adults can pull from it. So, yeah. Good Luck Charlie, It's Christmas. Another Christmas classic. I watch this every single year. So, yep. Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys, another Christmas classic. I watched this along with the other Rankin Bass specials. And then Hotel Rwanda, another one from my parents' collection. I actually seen this for the first time in one of my high school classes. It was a class basically touching on like different genocides that happened in history. And I loved this movie a lot when I watched it. Like, it was one that pretty much moved me a lot. So I saw this in my parents' collection and I was like, all right, well, I'm taking this one. Now let's move on to the next stack. We got Malignant. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, but I loved it. It's definitely cheesy, but it's very intentionally cheesy. If you've never seen this one, please give it a try and don't take it too seriously. Like, it is meant to be a horror movie that's supposed to be a good time. Not like a serious horror movie, not like a horror movie that's supposed to try to leave you scared. Like, this was literally made just to be cheesy and have a good time. Cabin in the Woods, somewhat like Malignant, but it's more of a commentary on horror. Somewhat like a commentary, somewhere between commentary and parody, but another fun time horror movie. Great Gatsby, very, great love story. I specifically love this version though. I did see the older version in high school, but this one, I love this version. Hangover, I said it before. This is basically my favorite movie of all time. The part two and part three were pretty good in my opinion, but the first one is my favorite movie of all time. But of course, I had to get the trilogy because I still think it's a great trilogy. I know people hate part two and three, but I think it's a great trilogy. Five Star Christmas. I love Hallmark movies. I love Hallmark movies. A lot of people can't believe it, but I really do love Hallmark movies. And Five Star Christmas is literally, I think, my second or third favorite Hallmark movies. It is Christmas in July, so I might watch this one pretty soon, actually. Stuart Little 2, there goes Stuart Little 2. I need to put that with Stuart Little 1. But yeah, Stuart Little 2, another one that I grew up watching. I like this one better than the first one. School Dance. This movie is another guilty pleasure movie for me. This shit is actually low key ass for real, but I love this movie. It is very much like a good horrible movie, if that makes sense. Like, it is bad, but it genuinely does have a lot of things you can enjoy about it. Black Widow, another one that people hate, but I genuinely like it a lot. I don't know, man. I feel like people need to give this one another chance. Lion King, I ain't even got to explain this one. One of the best Disney movies of all time. Then we got Hustlers, a movie that I don't really see people talk about a lot. I've recently watched it with my brother, I think like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I still feel like it holds up from when it first got released. All right, I'm trying to keep these stacks together because I have it like in a specific way in my drawer. Next, we have Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the Three Musketeers, another one that I loved. And I think this is really the only Mickey Mouse movie. It's one of the only few Mickey Mouse movies, really, that's not a holiday special. So yeah, had to buy this one. Eighth Grade, another A24 movie that I love. Very interesting because it is very true to the middle school experience, but it's rated R. So like when it was in theaters, I'm pretty sure a lot of, you know, middle schoolers couldn't even go to see this movie without a parent, really. Next, we have Escape Room. It's another one that's kind of cheesy, but it's also very fun. I remember me and my friends just randomly seen this when I got back from my cruise in 2019. And, it was a lot more enjoyable than we thought it was going to be. We thought we were going in to see some bullshit, but we actually wound up liking it. So, Escape Room, that's another good one. Like I said, I love Hallmark movies. So, this is like a whole 21 Christmas movie collection, all from Hallmark. Lists all the different movies, and I do plan on getting another collection from them pretty soon. But the reason I bought this collection was just for where is it? Cross Country Christmas, right there. I love Cross Country Christmas. It's one of my favorite Hallmark movies. Um, Also, I'm just gonna open this one up real quick just so you can see. But outside of the collection, I also have Christmas with the Darlings. Now, this is absolutely my favorite Hallmark Christmas movie. And of course, this was another custom one from Etsy. They don't actually sell this one physically, so I had to buy it that way. But there was an extra space right there, and I was like, all right, so let me just throw that in there with the rest of the collection. It is Christmas in July with Hallmark, so like I said, probably gonna watch that one soon. The Blackening, funny movie that came out last year. You guys can watch my podcast episode on it. Step Up 2, I still need to get Step Up 1 and 3. I have Step Up 4 and 5, so I just need to get the other two to complete my collection for that. Three Wise Men and a Baby, another Hallmark movie that I love. I'm mad that they didn't release the extended version on DVD, but they're showing the extended version next week. Another movie that I had no business watching at the age that I watched it. Yeah, Panic Room. Um, I love this movie a lot. And I know you guys are probably saying, like, man, you basically love every movie. I love movies, so what can I say? But yeah, Panic Room, definitely had no business watching this when I watched this. But yeah, I actually wound up liking the movie so much to buy it now that I'm older. Carrie, the original and the 2013 remake. I like both movies, but of course, the original is the classic. But I do think a lot of people sleep on the 2013 version. Next, we have Set It Off, another one from my parents' collection. I don't even really have to explain this one. This one is a classic. Then we got How to Eat Fried Worms, another one from my childhood that I grew up watching. Never had the DVD for it, but I saw it on HBO all the time. And of course, as I got older, I was like, fuck it, let me buy the movie finally. Get another stack out of the way. Final stack, at least for this bottom drawer. My Baby's Daddy, another movie from when I was younger that I had no business watching, but my brother always watched it and I just watched it with him. And yeah, I wound up liking this movie. I did recently rewatch this again, and it is definitely a movie that I would say still holds up in my opinion. Not a lot of people talk about this one. I can understand why, because it's not really, that mainstream of a movie. But if you do, if you guys are bored and you want to see a 2000s comedy, check this one out. Christmas Waltz, another Hallmark Christmas movie that I like. Fat Albert, another one that I grew up on. Come on now. If you grew up in the 2000s or even in the 90s, I don't even have to explain this one. Certified classic. Country Bears, a lot of people talk shit about this movie, but this was my childhood right here. I loved the Country Bears growing up. I even had the old VHS. Of course, I got rid of my VHS tapes when I was younger, or maybe my parents have it somewhere in the house, but Country Bears, I had to rebuy it. Love this movie. Now, you guys can't really see it, but this is, oh, yeah, okay. So this is the Midsummer Director's Cut. I got it from A24's website. This I can't even open it. I do want to open it and show y'all the artwork, but I feel like that's going to get me banned on YouTube. So if you guys want to see what's inside, I recommend going to the A24 website or looking at other videos on YouTube that shows the unboxing for it. Cradle to the Grave, another one I got from my parents' collection. You know, fun action movie, RIP to DMX. Great movie if you guys never seen it. Baby Boy, another one from my parents' collection. I don't even have to explain this one. This one is a straight up classic. The Longest Yard, another one from my parents' collection. I got a lot from my parents' collection, as y'all can see. Baby Geniuses, this is one that I grew up on when I was younger. As I got older, this one obviously isn't as amazing as I remembered it being, but it was still a great nostalgic movie for me. So, of course, I had to buy it. Another one from my parents' collection, Soul Plane. Trashy movie, but it's still great. And then I'm gonna get you, sucker. Now, this one I did not watch yet. I got this from my parents' collection, but I only got it just because it is a Wayne's Brothers parody movie. So of course I'm gonna watch it. Like, you know, Wayne's Brother parody. You gotta watch it. So, all right, that's all the movies from the bottom drawer. Then the final section is that drawer over there. So I'm gonna put these back, and then we're finally gonna end off the collection with that other drawer. All right, so as you guys can see, the last few movies in that other drawer, there's not as much space in that other drawer, so hence why there's not as much movies right here. But these are my most recent pickups and purchases. So let's get through this because this video is already like about to be like 40 minutes long. So. First, we have The Room, another A24 movie that a lot of people really don't talk about enough. It's such a great movie. Fruitvale Station, another one of my favorite movies of all time. Michael B. Jordan is like my second favorite actor of all time, so this movie definitely solidified it for me. Yeah, another great movie. If you watch this one, prepare to cry. Not that I cried, but I know a lot of people said that this movie is a very hard rewatch for them, so yeah. Then we got South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Y'all know the joke they were trying to set up with that. But yeah, the South Park movie, I Mom, I'm sorry, but I grew up on this movie. Like I watched this movie a lot. South Park, this movie is wild. If you know the show, then you know the show is wild, but they intentionally made this movie as wild as they possibly could against the MPAA. So, yeah, crazy movie. We got the Jump Street movies, definitely some of the best 2010s comedies, and I wish they would make a 23 Jump Street. They need to go ahead and make one because Channing Tatum just recently said that he wants another one, so please make another one, y'all. Now You See Me Too. I never seen the full thing of this. I did watch a little bit of it, but yeah, I just got this one based off the strength of how much I liked the first Now You See Me. So hopefully when I do fully sit down and watch this one that I enjoy it as much, or else I feel like I'm gonna have wasted my money. Next, A Christmas Story, classic Christmas movie. Watch this one every year along with this Christmas. Of course, y'all already know how iconic this movie is. New Year's Eve. Cheesy, yes. A very cheesy 2010s romantic comedy, yes. But I do love this movie a lot, and I do watch this one every year on New Year's. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's cheesy, but it's oh, excuse me. It's cheesy, but it's just such an enjoyable movie in my opinion. So, I'm not gonna recommend it because I know a lot of people mostly will not like it, but it is such a great movie in my opinion. Of course, I had the other two Halloween Town movies, so I had to finish the collection. Of course, it's not the same actress in Return to Halloween Town, but you know, I feel like the series is still complete. Like she did her job in this one, so it's just like, hey, I ain't got no problem with it. I still like this. I still like the whole series, so It is what it is. And then lastly, the first two VHS movies. You guys will probably notice I don't have VHS viral because I do not like VHS viral. But the first two VHS movies, this is probably up there with Halloween and Paranormal Activity for my favorite horror series. I watch these every year, not just for Halloween, but even at random points throughout the year as well. So, yep. So yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I did not think that I had a big enough collection to where it would take that long. But then again, it's also me talking a lot about the movies. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will do more like updates whenever I do get new Blu-rays and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I hope you guys stuck around as long, at least to this point in the video. But hey, I even watch a lot of long ass physical media videos, so I know somebody had to have stuck around. Um, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. You know, one thing I did say is that I want to start showing more of my personal life outside of the podcast and stuff like that. So if you guys like this, let me know. Like I said, I'll do more updates for physical media or just anything else. And I do also want to vlog more. So let me know how y'all felt about this one. And yeah, so with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. Catch y'all in the next video.